topic because it's very interesting that we have different banters on Twitter and LinkedIn about how developers have this constant beef with designers and their overbearing ideas and dreams. So we have these product leaders here who give us insights on how they work with their teams. Okay, my first question goes to Hassan. Yeah, to me, I'm sorry, yeah. Goes to me. Given your background with stronger business focus, what do you find to be the biggest challenge when it comes to fostering collaboration between designers and developers on your teams? Okay, taking the question again. Given your background with a stronger business focus, what do you find to be the biggest challenge in fostering collaboration between designers and developers on your team?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Happy to be here, by the way. Okay, so as a product leader, my biggest challenges will be, I think, cross-functional communication, because you're working with, it's not just designers and developers. You're working with, the marketing people, the sales people. Yeah, there's just a lot of people you're working with. Yeah. And they have expectations, and you pretty much just want to communicate everything to them. They need to know what exactly it is. You want to share the overall purpose, overall goal with them, and ensure that, on a daily basis they are making progress. So I think aligning everybody, if you're not well-grounded, or you don't know how to put your feet to the ground, you may have issues with that. So I think that's a challenge. I think another one will be prioritizing a lot of requests, because requests come from different corners. Yeah. Stakeholders have theirs. Customer feedback is there. Developers want it this way. Designers want it this way. Marketing is saying this. So just a lot of things, and you have to be very, very, what's the word now? You have to apply tact. Apply some tact to ensure that things are done properly, especially when there are just a lot of requests from different angles. And I think another one that's very important will be, balancing the vision and execution. I think I kind of touched on that earlier. So there's the product vision, and on a daily basis, you want to ensure that there's transparency. People are doing things the right way. People are doing things as should go. There's no bottleneck. There's no delay. So I think for me, the major challenges will be, we've hacked it, we have a hang of it, but I think those are the major major challenges that I have experienced in the past.
I understand. That makes sense. Trying to find that balance between all teams, your stakeholders, your designers, developers. I understand. That makes so much sense. The next question is going to go to Francis to get a perspective as a design leader. You have over a decade of experience, and you've worked in global development teams. So having previously collaborated with a lot of developers and designers, and currently you're a founder, right? So have this experience impacted in your collaboration in your current startup? And also, how have you been able to bridge that communication between these two teams, like the developers and designers?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Okay, so as a designer, I think even growing early in my career, one of the things I try to do to ensure that we don't have a lot of review and we don't have a lot of QA is when there is a product to be built. So the first thing is I ask myself, what are the stacks that these developers are going to use to develop this particular product? So who is working on this? So for front end, what are they using? Are they using React? Are they using Node.js? Are they using... So understanding the stack they are going to use, that will inform... So what I do normally is, once I know the stack they are using, I'll go and read up on the documentation of the stack, right? After reading up on the documentation of the stack, that will inform some of my design decisions, right? Okay, these are the guidelines of buttons in React. These are the style components of this and this. So that helps to understand what development wants, right, as a designer. So moving on to being a product person, I ensure that at the early stage of every product, there is, as we started thinking about it, oh, we want to launch a particular feature. Say we want to launch a feature that allows, on our platform now, say we want to launch a feature that allow you to hire your favorite photographer or to hire your favorite, what's it called now, content creator. So the first thing we do, and I make as a point of duty is, as we're thinking about it, we have the designers and the developers on the core, essentially, and also the business guys. Essentially, everybody's understanding what needs to be done at an early phase, right, before the product manager comes up with the PRD. And when the product manager is working on the PRD, she's not just working, or he or she's not just working on that alone. She's working on it with insights that is shared from all the stakeholders. And from there is clear communication from the get-go of what needs to be done. So the PRD is not just, what the product manager just generates on ChatGPT or just generate on her head, right? It's essentially a function of what the developer is saying, what the designer is saying, and what the business is saying, right? So when that comes together, when that document comes together, everybody knows that, this is what we need to do. And it reduces back and forth. And also another thing I've been able to do is, at every phase of product development, right, from, you're a designer here, and you guys follow processes in your company, from, say, the user stories to user flow, to information architecture, to the low fidelity, to the high fidelity, to all those processes. I ensure that every stakeholder that is involved, they are in the review of those processes. So they are inclined with, okay, these are the user flows we want to go with. As an engineer, what do you think are the constraints? What are the endpoints we cannot consume for this MVP? What are the APIs that we need to do? So when everybody's aligned at early stage, it really, really reduces the whole back and forth, and also reduce QA as well. Yeah.
Nice. My key takeaway from that is that you said you try to understand your teams before you get started into any development, right? And also prioritizing having a clear goal of what you guys are working towards. That's actually amazing. So my next question is going to Shegu. So with your technical background, right, you've probably encountered some common communication challenges between designers and developers. So what do you think are the best practices to ensure efficient design and development workflow, like design handoffs and when developers have technical issues? How do you bridge that communication gap?
All right, thank you for that question. I think there's one important word, and I think for me it's probably the most important word, especially when you work in a team, and that is alignment. Very, very important. I mean, alignment can just make it very easy for a group of people to work together, and there should be a lot of effort put into ensuring that everyone is aligned. And I think that depends on the process that you've established as a team. So number one, to ensure that the communication between designers and developers are effective, I think the structure of the team matters. How do you structure your product development team? I mean, even though the emphasis today is between, the focus today is between designers and developers, I mean, we can also have communication breakdown even between designers and PMs or other people within the team. So how is your team structured? And for example, at Kora, we have PMs, we have the designers, we have the back-end engineers, front-end engineers. And in addition to that, how much involvement do they have in what the team is working on? Because when people, just like you said, everyone is involved, stakeholders, everyone understands why we are prioritizing a particular thing, why we are trying to solve a particular problem in a particular way. So that's where alignment comes in. There's alignment on priorities, there's alignment on the kind of problem you want to solve. So everyone is not just coming up with, they're just not innovative. I mean, you can come up with innovative ideas, but at the same time, everyone understands that there's a problem that we are trying to solve, and everyone works within that context. So I think that addresses the issue of alignment. Then now, we go to the part of process. So what are the processes we have in place to ensure that there is constant feedback between among everyone involved in the team? So now, between the developer and the designer, when the designer starts working, it's very, very important to bring in the engineers early in the flow so that you can address the issue of feasibility. And a designer would come up with interesting workflows, interesting user flow, but from a front-end engineer's point of view, will it be feasible? Even the back-end engineer gets involved. You want the data or something to be presented in a particular way. Say you want the filter. Let's use the filter. You want to filter through a long list of data. The way data is structured in the back end, will it be complex or easy to work with the flow that the designer was able to come up with? So with that understanding, everyone getting involved as quickly as possible in the workflow, you are able to know what is feasible, so that at the end of the day, if the designer comes with a particular design, everyone has been involved and everyone is aligned on what has to be implemented. I also like to touch on one more thing, which is maybe a practical example. And this is to also ensure that the flow is also very efficient. And to the point where even a front-end engineer, if as a designer, I tell you we need to build a button, I don't need to do the designs. You already know what's expected, right? So you need to create a button. You know what the button should look like. So how do you achieve that? Through design language. Everybody knows that, we work with certain colors. We have blue. We work with certain fonts. We use a particular font. There's a way our headers have to be displayed. There's a way they have to be implemented. Our filters, our input fields, they must have this certain padding. There's that understanding between the designer and the developer. So you have design language, to achieve that. Then from the design language, you build your design systems. What should a button look like? What should be the padding? What should be the color of the button? What's the button? If you're using a button on a prompt to say yes or no, what should the button look like? What should the color of the no button and the color of the yes button? What should it look like? Yeah. Those are things that you have as a design system. The structure of the table. So when you're able to have those things in place, a designer can create just a low fidelity diagram, and then the developer can fill in the gaps and come up with something that works, and everybody knows that this is what is expected. So I think that's one of the ways you can actually solve the problem of communication and alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think particularly I like where you said the beginning of the stage of everything. You bring a designer and developer in, and everybody's airing out their views. What's supposed to be like? What's supposed to do? That's very clear. I really like that answer. Okay, my next question will go to Tumi. How do you, as a product leader, ensure the priorities of stakeholders and designers and developers are met? Because you mentioned that trying to meet that can be a hassle. So what do you do to make sure that these priorities are met?
Priorities of stakeholders, yeah, that's very important.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, the users, when it comes to the stakeholders, users are the ones that are most important because you are building for them. And it has to be something that the users can use.
Yes.
So that's very important. For me, my approach to that is, at the beginning, there's a clear communication. We are sharing the goal, right? This is what we are trying to build. This is how it's going to be useful to users. This is how we are sharing, insights. We are sharing, communicating everything, sharing, the value proposition. We are sharing with them also the success metrics, how we think this thing is going to scale. So everybody is kind of, what's the word now? Everybody has an emotional connection to what we are building. Everybody is involved. they see themselves as, we are building this from the scratch together. Do you understand? So when they are connected to it, for me, I feel like when they're connected to it, they should figure out whatever drama they want to, So for me, I feel like when everybody's involved, the marketing team, this is how you're going to come in. This is how you as a QA is going to come in. This is how, so you're sharing the vision, the entire product vision, and you're ensuring, like allocating how each of them is going to come in and how they're going to be useful on that project to them. So first of all, alignment. Ensuring everybody is well aligned on the common purpose of that project. The next thing would be transparency, right? So how do we ensure that everybody's effort is transparent across team? It's a large team. There's so many people working towards this goal. We can talk about using tools, product management tools, so that everybody's carried along on what each person is doing. Because at the end of the day, it's a collective effort towards that common goal. So if we're using tools like Jira, like Trello, Slack, we are all carried along. We're collaborating very well. So collaboration is very, very key on to ensure that everybody's well together, everybody's carried along and all. So the next thing would be, for me, I think it would be regular check-ins. Okay. Regular check-ins, stand-ups.
Do you have something to add, Francis? Because you're running a startup.
Regular check-ins, ensuring that on a daily basis, what we are doing, everybody's aligned. What are your challenges, what are your bottlenecks? How do we tackle it? Yeah. So what's the way forward? Ensuring that every day we are working towards there's some progress on a daily basis. I think the next thing for me beyond that will also be frequent review sessions. So where are we now? Maybe like on a weekly basis, especially with designers and developers. Where are we now? Are you guys well aligned? Can you see that everything is going as planned?
Yeah.
Comparing it to like the roadmap, is everything going in order? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I think that regular check-in, the regular review sessions between developers, designers, is actually very, very key.
Yeah.
Then beyond that, as the project progresses, we are also ensuring that the team is a team that encourages. We are promoting a team that encourages positivity, a team that encourages like proper knowledge sharing. Yeah. So nobody is like the superstar. Nobody feels like they are the next thing after sliced bread. Yeah, nobody feels, we are working together towards a common purpose. So everybody feels like their input is appreciated. Yeah. So you want to promote a team. As a leader, as a product leader, you want to promote a team that everybody feels appreciated. Everybody's efforts, is acknowledged and, appreciated. And so that will take me to celebrating milestones. As the product progresses, we're celebrating milestones. Yeah, so we've gone so far, we've done this. How do we celebrate? How does everybody feel included? Do you understand? And we'll have milestones to celebrate, but we'll also have failures, we'll have challenges. So while we are celebrating milestones, we're also picking out the challenges. So at this point, we had this bottleneck. At this point, we had this challenge. What are the learning points from this? As a team, we're also collectively, dissecting whatever challenges, analyzing it, and picking up learning points, learning moments, ensuring that there are learning moments from those challenges. So how do we make sure that next time this doesn't happen again? So for me, I think ensuring that everybody is carried along, there's a shared vision that are working towards, regular check-ins, regular dev designer review sessions, celebrating milestones, ensuring that everybody in the team is appreciated and acknowledged. And letting them understand that this thing is like we are a user-focused team. It has to, whatever we're building, has to be able to serve the users, And that way we can always take feedback from users, incorporate those feedback back into what we are building, and then iterate basically. So that's my own approach.
That sounds amazing. It all boils down to alignment at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor to the audience who have questions for the speakers. Does anyone have any question? Well.
Any questions?
Any question in the audience? Oh,
We've got
okay.
one here.
Sorry.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Ishak Wilson. So I'm currently dealing with a situation where I have a product manager and a product designer in my team. And the product designer has more experience, has, say, like 3-4 years experience. And the product manager has not as much experience as the product designer, right? So there's that improper fraction whereby the product designer thinks she's invariably lecturing the product manager on certain intricacies and certain how to go about certain things, right? Which, according to hierarchy, the product manager is supposed to be above, I might be mistaken, but it's supposed to be above the product designer, right, in hierarchy. So I'm having this improper fraction because of this experience.
Okay, I think the speakers got your question, and Francis would like to share his perspective.
Okay, so this scenario is a typical Nigerian startup scenario. I have a small beef about product managers, but I will not say anything here. Okay, so I think this scenario is a typical Nigerian startup scenario, and really, one of the ways to approach it is from the, I believe you are the founder, right? From the leadership position, right? And also even the product manager. Trust me, the product designer knows more than the product manager in this scenario. So the product manager should just calm down and learn, right? A product is not done by one person alone. A product is built by a team of people, right? And when I'm pointing something out, right, I'm pointing based on my experience as a product designer. As a manager, yours is to weigh it. What I'm saying, what effect does it have on the business goal? What I'm saying, what effect does it have on the user? What I'm saying, what impact does it have on the stakeholder decision, right? Once you judge through those lenses, and you're not judging through those personal beliefs or personal, am I your mate? I'm not your mate. When you judge through why we are here, you're able to weigh what this person is saying. Are they actually saying the right thing, or are they saying the wrong thing? So earlier when we were building, when I was building a team for my startup, I had this same scenario. So I was working in like 9 to 5, and I have this idea I want to build out in my head. So what thing I did was I reached out to a friend of mine that was head of engineering, at Money Point, and he assembled it. So we assembled a team of engineers. Mind you, these engineers that we assembled, they are like 4 years experience, 5 years experience. And because we need a product manager, and I can't be doing everything, I hired somebody from bootcamp, tech for dev. I'm giving them free. I hired somebody from that kind of thing. So that was a mistake on my own end. How will she manage these engineers? Do you get? And the first 2 weeks, the engineers were like, no, the first 1 month, the engineers were complaining. Why? Because she has not given herself to knowledge enough to know how to manage this type of people. And again, when we are managing, so all the word management is just you're managing people, you're managing personalities, you're managing beliefs, you're managing the way people talk, you're managing people, right? So as a manager, as a product manager or any form of manager, it's not just about the product. It's about the people that is getting the product done. One of the ways I've learned to hack to work with product people is just have a personal relationship with them. Like, have a personal relationship with them. Understand their biases, understand what they like to do, understand all those things. From that, work can flow better rather than things things we've learned on product school that does not even apply to Nigerian startup scene, or things we've learned on Google that does not even apply, right? Because as a startup, you don't have the time and the money to be doing a lot of all these methodologies, right? You build as you design, you build as you go. So the goal is you want to. So my counsel is for that product manager, you have to be very humble enough to learn from what the person is saying, and just to weigh what impact does this have on the business, on the company, and also what the stakeholder wants. Thank you.
That was that. Do we have any other questions in the house? Well, in the absence of questions, I would like to ask the speaker to say a piece of advice for the product leaders and founders that are in the audience that will help them in their workflow. Francis. Give them a piece of advice so we can wrap up.
I don't have advice, but I'm just going to share from experience. So I think ultimately, build what people love, solve a problem you genuinely care about, right? I know that we're in this time and age where we have entrepreneurship as a service, that people are bidding for investors. But if you check the startup history, like 10 years back, you can see people that bid for investors, and you can see people that build to solve a genuine problem. You can see their results.
Yes.
So if you are thinking of building something now, build something user wants, build to scale, and love people.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to say? So you want to share something?
Okay, so for me, it kind of touched on what I was going to say, but I think for me, just appreciate customer feedback.
Okay.
And take it, incorporate it into what you're building. Because you find out that you can start out to build A, right? And along the line, your customer feedback is helping you get from A to Z. Like the feedback you get is even making that product more valuable.
Yeah.
So I think that as for product leaders, product managers, people that are building, just appreciate customer feedback because they can be very valuable. Thank you.
Nice. Anything from you, Shegun?
All right. So I think one piece of advice I'll give is always look out for opportunities to optimize your process. Regardless of what happens externally, I mean, we can always talk about external factors, but you can also look within and see if there's anything you could have done better, to be able to either adapt to what has happened externally or even address it. So always look for opportunities to improve yourself, improve your internal process. There will always be room for improvement. There will always be room for improvement. So that's very, very important. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, my key takeaways from this talk is alignment within teams will create magic. And also customer feedback. Customer feedback, really good. Thank you so much for listening to us. This was a very beautiful panel section. A round of applause for our speakers.
All right, let's just quickly take a photo.